yeah, I beat the school bus out of the lay-by. I'm ahead. I'm not going to start talking properly till we're through this junction, because this junction's a nightmare to navigate. You need to concentrate. There we are, done. All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Today, I just wanted to mention this book that I've been reading recently. It's one of these like self-improvement books, and I know that's like a huge craze these days, but I think they can be pretty useful. And there's something about taking the time and effort to actually dig into a book and reading it, rather than just these like motivational YouTube videos that require no effort on your part to absorb. Whereas a book is kind of different mental process that goes on, and you absorb it in a different way, and maybe the lessons stick a bit harder because there's more kind of contextual information around them, and you're sort of learning a little bit about the personality of the writer, and so it becomes a little bit more meaningful and therefore more useful. So anyway, this one's called The One Thing by Gary Keller with Jay Papasan, so as maybe a co-author. And the central premise of the book, I will have to tell you in a moment, because I'm about to go through another junction and I want to concentrate. There we go, we're on. So the central premise of the book, it circles around modern life, where everybody has a million different priorities, a million different things you should be concentrating on. You know, the top 5 ways to do this, and like the 7 best ways to do that, and 100 different priorities that we all find ourselves with. But that doesn't necessarily lead to success or lead anywhere. And underlying every great success story is kind of the ability to say no to a lot of things and zero in on what's actually important. I mean, you have the famous case of Apple, where Steve Jobs came back to Apple after leaving it for a while, and famously like narrowed the product line right down from however many products down to just a real bare bones product line, and just made the tiny few things that Apple made them amazing. And it's kind of centered around that principle about don't have like 5 priorities or 3 priorities or 2 priorities. Like, really, it's a process for working out what is the one thing that's actually valuable, that's actually going to be important, and that's actually going to move you towards whatever the direction is you want to move towards. That's going to, and I hate this phrase, it's going to move the needle. It's like KPIs, but you get the idea, right? And the way this is formulated is about partway through the book, it comes up with a wording of this question that you can use to help you identify what is the one thing that's important that you should be focusing on. And the question goes, let's see if I can remember it. What is the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Right, so there's quite a lot in that formulation. So there's, and you know, embedded in there is an enabling slant to it. Is the one thing that I can do, right? So what do I want to say about that? So that's a very generic question, but you can use that in multiple ways. You can apply it to different aspects of your life. So this doesn't have to be career or business orientated, but it can be. So it might be you're a business owner and you want to turn around a failing business, so you can apply it to that. What's the one thing that I can do that will make everything else, such that by doing it everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? You can apply that to your finances in general, as a person. You can apply it to your family life, for example, to put it in a different direction. Say you're struggling as a family, what's the one thing that I can do with regard to my relationship with my children, for example? Or you can apply this to health, wealth and happiness, like all the different dimensions of your life. And what else can I say about this? You can also, as well as applying it sort of like horizontally across different aspects of your life, you can take it the other way. And for example, say you have a goal that you're trying to start up a new business, become financially independent, or you're changing careers, or you're learning a new career, or you're embarking on a new chapter of your life in some way or other, and you've got a big goal that you want to head towards, or you want to achieve something. You can apply this temporally, meaning over a time period. You can say, over all time, what's the one thing that I can do? Well, that might be to up sticks and move around the world. It might be to change careers. And then you can say, in pursuit of that, what's the one thing that I can do over the next 5 years, such that by doing it everything else becomes easier or necessary? And then you can drill down on that. You can say over 1 year, you can say over the next month, over the next week, what's the one thing that I can do today towards that weekly goal? And so you can make it granular. You have these like nested time periods, so that you can use it right now to focus on what your agenda is right now in this next block of time that you've allocated yourself for doing important work. So when you think of it like that, you can apply it both to different aspects of your life. You can apply it immediately, but with the context of a longer time scale, it becomes quite a useful tool, so that you're not just spending your time aimlessly, or even just in busy work that you vaguely think is going somewhere. You can structure what you're doing so that it's most effective. I think it's a really useful framework for people who are striving towards a particular goal, really want to be going somewhere and doing something, and need a strategy to do that. There's a nice little aside in the book where it's described that, now I can't remember the exact context around this, but if you line up a row of dominoes such that you push the first domino, the next domino, it hits the second domino, and that falls over and knocks the third domino, and so on, and you create this domino run where they all push each other over. Now, it so happens, if the dominoes are the same size, that works perfectly. But it also works if the second domino is up to a certain percentage bigger than the first domino. 10%? I don't know, I can't remember, like a certain percentage, maybe it's only like 2%, and they're spaced correctly. And then the first domino actually has the momentum behind it that can topple the second domino that is a X percentage bigger. And then you can see where that heads. It means that the third domino can be bigger and the fourth domino can be bigger still. And see, I can't remember the numbers here, but it was quite the when that's projected out over a sequence, the results are quite eye-opening. So I think with whatever percentage this study came up with, that it works one domino onto the next, that it's only something like 300 dominoes, and you end up with a domino that reaches to the moon or something ridiculous, because you end up with this very gradual start, but an exponentially increasing size of domino. Now you can imagine you can apply that is kind of how real life works. When you're starting out, you're starting on the bottom rung, and everyone starts on the bottom rung. You have very little agency or leverage or influence in the world, but each step that you take that has some kind of success in your life, it increases that effectiveness that you have in the world. So you can apply this to people who, like professionals who are later on in their career and who have sort of navigated their career path in such a way that they have enormous, even global influence or leverage over their particular sphere of expertise. And that concept gives you a kind of motivation to work at that first domino. So that first domino is your one thing that you should be focusing on. Oh, I want to become I don't know, doctor, an architect, famous musician, whatever it is you want to do. Well, you have to focus on what is that first domino. Well, you need to learn the piano, or you need to study for your maths exams, or whatever it is you need to do. But then, so you keep hammering away at that first domino until it topples, and then you move on to the second domino, which is the longer time scale, or the next thing. And so, given sort of persistence and a long enough time scale, and persistence and determination, that's the means by which you can achieve what you want to achieve. So, great book. I think if you're trying to forge a path in life, and you have ambitions of things you want to achieve, and to live a life well lived, I think this book is worth a read. Don't have an affiliate link, just a fan. So I hope that's interesting and useful. Thanks for listening. And that's all I have for you today. So I'll see you next time.